There will be no housing collapse. There will be no housing collapse. I know people think, oh, there's all these Airbnbs and these cities are pushing back and they're regulating and all these Airbnbs are going to come down, and it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. I think a lot of people think that, and when everybody starts thinking in the same direction, I tend to not believe it because everybody has the same mindset, and typically when everybody has the same mindset, it typically doesn't pan out. Here's why. You have, during the pandemic, about 50% of all millennials moved back home with their families. So even if you were to see housing prices start to come down, what was unaffordable before for many of these millennials or maybe Gen Xers now starts to become more affordable. And so once the price hits where I think I can get in, people are going to make a move. I just recently put a bid on a home out in Pittsburgh. It was $165,000. Very well maintained. Looked like it had a lot of updates recently. And this was in a fairly high tax area. And Pittsburgh is not this up and coming city. It's not this. It's not like New York. It's not California. It's not Texas, right? It's not Tennessee. None of these places, right? It's actually a declining city. Pittsburgh is actually a declining city. And there were 6 people that bid on this home. There were 6 of them. And this isn't the first home that I've put a bid on where I've been outbid. And I bid what the person wanted. So whatever was selling for on Zillow, I looked at the comparables, more or less, maybe in better condition. So I bid what the person asked. I bid 165. And came back. Well, there are 6 other buyers. So at a time period where maybe you have people who are cash buyers, investors, excuse me, or people who just want less competition, right? Because remember during the pandemic when people were moving out, there were 10, 15, 20 people that were bidding all on the same house, bidding 100K over asking. And so now you don't have that scenario. You've got onesies and twosies. You've got single digit people that you're competing against, but the interest rates, of course, are higher. Now, home prices obviously have come down since to the moon, for these home prices. And a lot of people think that the housing is going to collapse. It's not going to happen. The supply is not going to go up while the interest rates are higher. So as homes incrementally come down, people are going to step in and buy. What people also don't talk about is what a lot of these homes look like. So while yes, there may be more homes will come on the market, I can show you even in Pittsburgh where literally house over house over house are fucking abandoned, and they're 200K, and you got to put in 100 to 150K to rehab it, and then you still got to realize that the rest of the neighborhood is going to look like shit. And that's what you're walking into, and that's not going to go away. That isn't going to go away. I've seen many of these homes. They've been on the market 90 days, 120 days, 200 and something days, and the price is the price, and they ain't budging, regardless of interest rates. It's not going to happen, because the moment the government drops the interest rates, what's going to happen? Now there's going to be a flood of people who have access to money, and so that's what those people know. Those people know that as soon as the government drops the rates, whether it's in 6 months or a year, that property value is only going to go higher because the dollar is going to be devalued. And this is why you have people like Robert Kiyosaki, that pats himself on the back for being this amazing investor. And it's like, shit, if you just understand that they're devaluing the currency and you buy assets, this is a no-brainer. If anything, you're participating because you're getting in on the ground level because all this Ponzi scheme shit started when you were young. And so as the government increases the amount of liquidity in the system, well, then it devalues the currency, and it takes more currency to buy that same shit house that literally should be free, like what they do in Italy. And the ones that I've seen that they're giving away for like €1 are in way better condition. The house that I was talking about in Pittsburgh, that's 200K. I'll flash the the ad. You can take a look at it. I wanted to take a look at the house because it didn't look that great, but it was close to the downtown area. close to the parks, relatively close to the hospital area, where all the restaurants are, not too far away, relatively speaking, from the stadium, etc. But it's on the other side of the tracks. And they were like, yeah, we're not sure if we can let you in because there was a leak on the roof that's been leaking for quite some time. And it basically wiped out the third floor. So they had to tear apart the third floor. And I'm like, this is what 200K goes for in Pittsburgh. And it's even worse in many of these other places. So while they say inventory is going to increase, what's that inventory going to look like? Are you talking about pristine houses? Or are you talking about pieces of shit crack houses that should be torn down and be rebuilt? That you have these people that are holding on to for dear life. You got these boomers that are holding on to these houses for dear life, not wanting to let them go at ridiculous prices because they're trying to cash out, right? They're looking for the bigger fool, which is what they think you are. This is basically what the Ponzi scheme is. They're just trying to exit. They've lived their whole life pumping for welfare. They've devalued the currency. It ain't worth shit. Housing prices are only going to go higher. Yes, there might be a little blip where houses come down slightly, but at the end of the day, boomers are going to vote for more money along with the rest of the people that vote for welfare. And as more people go on strike and they go out there and picket, we want more money. That means that that person now has more money to inject into the system. So what's that going to do to prices? It's going to cause prices to go higher. You saw the strikes with FedEx. You see all the strikes with the nurses. You see the strikes with all the automotives, the strikes with the rail system, etc. Right? The strike with what's it called? They had the UPS strike. They had the train system in New York strike. What does that mean? We want more money. That means there's more money out there to rent houses, buy food, etc. And what's that going to do to the limited supply? It's going to cause the supply to dwindle because now people have more money. And if the government goes the route of central bank digital currency, all that's going to do is cause the same problem. Because the moment people realize, and you see this with all the crime, when the people can't afford things, when they realize that they can just steal, they will. And if the government foolishly turns people's money off and certain people can't get what they need, they're going to rob the stores. That's not going to go away. And if they can't rob the stores because of whatever security, they'll rob the people. Because the problem is you don't have enough people working to produce the stuff that they need. That's the problem. And the government is trying to find every which way to retain their power. And these boomers are trying to find a way to just skirt into the grave and leave you holding the bag when the shit collapses. And this is why the best thing you can do is not participate. It's the same thing with the 401ks, the stock market. All this shit is a scam. It's all looking for the bigger fool so that they can pass that shit on to you and leave you holding the bag. Like with many of these houses. It's ridiculous. Like when I look at some of these houses, I'm like, you want 150 for this? It looks like a crack house. It looks like it's been abandoned. It looks like it's been abandoned for years. And you telling me you want 200K for this? It's wild. But this is the result of welfare and money printing. And as Reagan said, which I touched on in another video, Reagan said that he warned the boomers that if you keep going this route, you're going to sell your children off into slavery. And we are that generation. The millennials, I'm a late Gen Xer. I was literally born 1 year before I would have been born a millennial. And this is what it is. This is the system that they're leaving behind, telling you that you're a lazy piece of shit. Meanwhile, they voted for their money, for your money, for the people that came after you's money, and they're just trying to skirt it on the way out. We need more Social Security. We need more money for healthcare. We need more money for benefits. We need more tax credits. You need to lower my insulin. Who's going to pay for that? The younger generations who are still working. And what was the answer? Like, hey, if y'all ain't gonna work, if y'all ain't gonna participate, then we're gonna bring in all these migrants into the country. So either way, you're gonna take the L. So either you get to work, or we're gonna sell your country out to somebody else. these are who these people are. These are who these people are. You got a senile old man in the government, and this is the best that they have to offer you. In Pennsylvania, they voted for a guy with a fucking dude had a stroke, could barely speak. But this is who it is. It don't matter. They're not looking for the person who can do the job correctly. They're looking for the most corrupt person, because what they need them to do is, we need you to steal from the younger generation. We need you to steal from people in another country, whatever it takes, so that we can eke our way out and work our way into the grave without having to deal with the headache that we created. And so housing prices aren't going to collapse. They're not. It's just not going to happen. They won't. That's where all their money is. All the money that boomers hold is in the stock, is in their 401ks and in real estate. The real estate that they bought 40 years ago for 40,000, they want to sell to you for 400,000. Anyway, it is what it is. I'm out. I got work tonight.